Chapter 1. The Legend of the Woods. In a small town nested between rolling hills and dense forests, there was a place everyone knew, but few dared to enter: Whispering Woods. The woods were known for their eerie silence during the day and unsettling whispers that fouled the air at night. Locals spoke of the forest in hushed tones, sharing tales of those who had ventured in and never returned. Fell legend. Claimed that the woods were cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who had gotten lost and died within its depths. It was said that these spirits whispered to anyone who entered, trying to lure them deeper into the forest, where they would become lost forever, joining the ranks of the lost souls. Despite of the warnings, group of 5 friends, =sign Lena, Mark, Julia, Tom, and Rachel, decided to go camping in Whispering Woods. They were thrill seekers, always looking for the next adventure, and the legend of the woods intrigued them. They had heard the stories, but dismissed them as mere superstition. "Come on, it's just an old tale to scare kids," Mark said as they packed their gear. Lena, the most skeptical of the group, nodded in agreement. "Exactly. We'll go. Have some fun, and prove that there's nothing to be afraid of." With that, they set off, confident that the woods held no real danger. But as they crossed the threshold into Whispering Woods, the dense trees seemed to close in around them, and a cold wind whispered through the leaves, as if the forest was welcoming them in its own sinister way. Chapter 2. The First Night. The friends set up camp in a clearing they found deep within the woods. The area was surprisingly quiet. No birds, no rustling leaves, just an unsettling stillness that seemed to press in on them from all sides. As night fell, they gathered around the campfire, telling ghost stories and laughing nervously at the darkened trees that surrounded them. But as the fire crackled and their laughter faded, they began to hear something: soft, distant whispers. At first, they thought it was just the sound of the wind through the trees, but the whispers grew louder, more distinct. They couldn't make out the words, but there was something unmistakably human about them, something pleading. "Did you hear that?" Rachel asked, her voice shaking slightly. "It's just the wind," Tom replied, though he didn't sound convinced. But the whispers persisted, growing louder as the night deepened. Ina, always the rational one, decided to investigate. She stood up, shining her flashlight into the darkness. But there was nothing there, just trees and shadows. "There's nothing out there," she said, trying to reassure the others. "Let's just get some sleep." Reluctantly, they agreed, retreating to their tents. But sleep didn't come easily. The whispers continued, seeping into their dreams, filling their minds with strange, unsettling images. The forest seemed to be alive, its voice a constant, unnerving presence that wrapped around them like a cold, clammy blanket. Chapter 3. The Vanishing. The next morning, the group woke up groggy and unnerved. The forest around them seemed darker, the trees more twisted and menacing than they had appeared the day before. They decided to explore the woods, hoping to shake off the unease that clung to them. As they walked, the whispers returned, but now they were closer. almost as if they were coming from just behind them. The friends stopped, turning to catch other with uneasy glances. "This isn't funny anymore," Julia said, her voice trembling. "Who's doing that?" But none of them were playing tricks. The whispers seemed to be coming from all around them, circling them, closing in. Then, suddenly, they realized Mark was missing. One moment he had been with them, and the next he was gone. No sound, no trace, just vanished into thin air. Panic set in. They called out his name, searching frantically, but the only response was the whispering, now louder and more insistent. Was as I, the forest, I itself, was mocking them, enjoying their fear. "We need to find him," Tom said, his voice shaking. "We can't just leave him out here." But as they searched, the woods seemed to change, shifting and twisting around them. Paths they thought they knew disappeared. Trees looked the same in every direction, and the whispering grew more urgent, more desperate. It was as if the woods were alive, guiding them deeper into its dark heart. Chapter 4. Lost in the Woods. As the day wore on, the friends became hopelessly lost. Every direction they turned led them deeper into the woods, further from where they had set up camp. Exhausted and terrified, they stopped to rest, but the whispers gave them no peace. Now, the whispers were louder than ever, and the words began to take shape, forming fragmented sentences that chilled them to the bone. Help. Lost. Forever. The voices were pleading, desperate, but there was something else beneath them, a malevolence that sent shivers down their spines. Rachel, the most sensitive of the group, began to break down. "We have to get out of here. We need to leave now," she cried, her voice rising in panic. But Lena, trying to stay rational, insisted they keep moving. We can't just sit here. We have to find a way out." As they pressed on, the forest seemed to close in tighter, the trees leaning in as if to listen to the whispers. Then they began to hear footsteps, soft and shuffling, just beyond the reach of their flashlights. But no matter where they pointed the beam, nothing was there. Just empty, shadowy woods. And then, as suddenly as Mark had vanished, Rachel was gone. One moment she was right behind them, and the next, she was swallowed by the darkness, her screams echoing briefly before they were drowned out by the whispering. The remaining three were now in full panic mode, running blindly through the forest, the whispers chasing them, taunting them. The woods were no longer just a backdrop. They were a predator, hunting them, playing with them. Chapter 5. The Final Whisper. Lena, Tom, and Julia stumbled through the darkness, the whispers now deafening, a chorus of voices all around them. The words were clear now. Pleas for help, warnings to turn back, and sinister promises that they would never leave. They realized they were being herded, driven deeper into the forest's heart, towards something unseen but profoundly evil. The ground beneath them became uneven, treacherous, and the air grew colder with each step. The whispers seemed to penetrate their very thoughts, filling their minds with fear and despair. Suddenly, they came upon a clearing, and in the center stood a massive, ancient tree, its twisted branches reaching out like gnarled hands. The whispers were strongest here, almost tangible, and the air was thick with a sense of malevolent power. As they approached the tree, they saw something that made their blood run cold. Mark and Rachel, standing motionless at the base of the tree, their eyes blank, their faces pale, as if all life had been drained from them. The tree's roots wrapped around their feet, holding them in place. The whispers became a roar, urging Lena, Tom, and Julia to join their friends, to give in to the forest, to become one with it. Tom, overwhelmed by the voices, stepped forward, as if in a trance. But before he could reach the tree, Lena grabbed him, pulling him back with all her strength. "We have to fight it," she screamed over the cacophony. "We have to get out of here now." But it was too late. The forest wasn't going to let them go. Julia, terrified and disoriented, suddenly bolted, running back into the woods. The whispers followed her, and within moments, her screams echoed back to them, cut off abruptly as she, too, was claimed by the forest. Lena and Tom, now the only ones left, clung to each other in terror. But as the tree loomed closer, its whispers filling their minds with darkness, they knew they couldn't escape. The forest had taken them, just as it had taken countless others before. The last thing Lena heard before everything went black was the whispering, now a soothing lullaby, promising peace, promising rest. Forever. The next morning, the townspeople found the campsite, but there was no sign of the friends. All that remained was the silent forest and the faintest of whispers on the wind, telling the story of those who dared to enter Whispering Woods and were lost forever. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when I upload new content.